Hello, my name's Rachel Clarke. I'm going to talk to you about Big Cat Read On, and my focus is on fluency and spoken language. Let's start with fluency. Often people talk about fluency in terms of the rate or the pace at which children read. I'm going to take a broader view of fluency, and that's certainly the view that we've taken in the Read On books. My thinking is influenced by the researcher and writer Tim Rosinski. And in his way of thinking and my way of thinking, fluency is more than just the rate or pace at which children read. It's also the prosody or the melody of their reading as well. And so we think of fluency as two dimensions: automatic decoding of text and reading with expression, prosody. It's really interesting to think of it in terms of the simple view of reading, for example, in that the decoding, that accurate automatic decoding of text, aligns to that idea of pace and rate of reading. And the comprehension in our simple view of reading aligns quite neatly with the idea of prosody or expression. Because if you're going to read some text and you are going to give it the correct expression, you do that because you understand what you've read. You comprehend what you've read. If you don't understand what you've read, it's very difficult to give it the appropriate expression. And so when we bring these two ideas together, we actually think of fluency then as a bridge that brings together automaticity and prosody and decoding and comprehension. And it creates a completeness, really, in this idea of reading. So in the Big Cat Read On texts, we've made a real effort to ensure that children have the opportunity to practice and to rehearse their reading fluency. And that's because we believe very strongly that fluency can be taught. You can focus in on helping children with expression or helping them to read smoothly, but you need to build that time for it. And so we've built it into the teacher notes, that menu of ideas that we've given you to run alongside each of the texts in the Read On programme. I thought it would probably be a good idea if I just talked about a couple of fairly common activities that found their way into the various teacher notes that support these books. So we've got, for example, repeated reading. There's a gorgeous book in the range called Gold Rush. It's really funny. And there is some passages in the book where, with the opportunity to read them and reread them and practice them, the children can build up their expressive fluency. And by doing that, they can then give what we call a reader's theatre performance, which is you're still reading your text, but you are reading to your audience with beautiful expression. During that process as well, we do actually encourage the children to think about gesticulations and actions that they might want to add to their reading performance, just to connect with their audience. But also, again, it hints at comprehension, doesn't it? And that sort of inference of how do people behave when they're saying these particular words. And so it's practice, it's rehearsal, it's a polished performance of reading a piece of text, and that's in Gold Rush. Another example of activities that's found its way into quite a few of the texts is bringing dialogue alive. I've got one of the books here on my lap. This is Beauty Spot. This is a nice, very easy reading text. This one reads very quickly. I think it'd be popular probably with girls in your class more than boys. It's about a group of girls who are having some quite major friendship issues. So that will be familiar to many of the girls in your class. And there are some issues of self-worth, self-perception, self-image that come through in this text. This story has a lot of dialogue in it. And that's great, isn't it, for working on fluency and expression with children, particularly as in this text there are some very, very good reporting clauses that suggest how you might want to say the lines being spoken by the different characters. And so in this particular book, one of the spoken language, the fluency activities that we've created involves a group of children taking on the different roles and practicing reading that dialogue with suitable expression. Spoken language is also a really important part of the read-on books, and every single lesson plan has very many spoken language activities in it. I say lesson plan. Remember, it is a menu of opportunities. You can choose which activities you do and which ones you elect not to use. But within each set of notes to accompany each book, there are lots of spoken language activities. Many of them come under the heading of book talk. One of the spoken language activities that I want to focus on is snowballing. We've built this into quite a few of the plans. And it's the idea that children might want to discuss something. For example, how a character changes over the course of the story. Which is an important thing, isn't it? Because characters grow. As they deal with their problem and they resolve their problem in a story, they grow. There is personal growth. And so to get children to reflect on that personal growth of the characters, we have put in snowballing activities in one or two of the plans. Snowballing is where a pair of children start together and have their discussion. When that discussion is completed, they join with another pair of children, so you get a quad. Then when they've had their discussion, they've refined their thinking and they have started to build up a sort of group view, for example, of how this character has grown over the duration of the story. Then they join with another group. So you've probably got 8 children now sitting together having this discussion about the text. So that's a really nice scaffolded and supported way of helping children to take their own ideas, listen to other ideas, and to craft and to meld and to sculpt a more complete view, because they have been listening to each other and they have been negotiating how they want to think about the personal growth of a character. Sticking with personal growth of characters, another activity that we've brought in, and actually it is included in this book, Beauty Spot, is hot seating, which many people know. It's a very popular approach, isn't it? A drama approach for getting children to take different roles. For Beauty Spot, Emmy, the main character, is put into the hot seat, and children have the opportunity to devise questions and to ask those questions of Emmy again about her growth over the story, how she feels at different parts of the text, how she feels that she has learnt to overcome the issues that she's got about her self-image that are in this text. In the back of every book, there is a set of book talk questions. So these are there for children to use in their discussions about the text. They can be used by groups, they can be used by pairs, but they again facilitate spoken language. They offer children opportunities to delve into the text, and they just prompt them to think about the text in a way that they may not have done if those questions weren't there. It's worth noting that all of the activities that we've offered, whether they be for fluency or spoken language, they can be done by pairs of children. They can be done by groups of children. They can be undertaken as a whole class. The flexibility is yours. It's up to you how you choose to undertake those activities. But always, our aim has been to help the children to engage with the text more deeply. So spoken language activities really help them to do that. They can start to formulate ideas that you may want to eventually turn into written responses, but you're likely to get a deeper, more reflective response from them when they've had those conversations. And then the fluency activities that we've built in really are there just to help children build up that fluency, that prosody, so that they actually understand the text better. Because when you read with prosody, you understand what you read. Thank you. I hope that you enjoy the Read On books. I adore them, and it was an absolute pleasure to write notes for them. So do let us know how you get on with them. Thank you.